Hello everyone, I am Sukhbir Kaur Gill, your English teacher. Dear students, today we are going to continue with the story Chief Seattle's Speech. Dear students, today we will complete the remaining part of this story. So please all of you open your textbooks at page number 44. Let's begin. It matters little where we pass the remnant of our days, they will not be many. So here Chief Seattle addressing his people is saying that it hardly matters where we spend the remaining part of our life because they will not be many, because now they are not going to live for a long time period. The Indians night promises to be dark, not a single star of hope hovers above his horizon. Sad voiced winds moan in the distance. Grim fate seems to be on the red man's trail, and wherever he will hear the approaching footsteps of his fell destroyer and prepare steadily to meet his doom, as does the wounded doe that hears the approaching footsteps of the hunter. So, bache, even the nights are going to be dark for them, right? So, they are not having any hope in the coming future. Even winds seem to moan in the distance. So, the condition of red man is like a female deer that fears at the approaching footsteps of the hunter. So here the condition of red man is like a deer. They are having a fear of the white man. A few more moons, a few more winters, and not one of the descendants of the mighty host that once moved over this broad land or lived in happy homes protected by the Great Spirit will remain to mourn over the graves of a people once more powerful and hopeful than yours. So after that, bache, people of Squamish tribe, listening to Chief Seattle's wording, they became aggressive. So at that time, he told his people that now they are having only few more moons left, few more winters, means that their time is very less now. Soon things are going to be finished for them. So they should not take any wrong step. If they are going to take any wrong step, then not even a single person of their tribe is going to be alive, who is going to be alive to mourn the death of his own people. So, but why should I mourn at the untimely fate of my people? So, next he says that why should I feel sad? Why should I mourn at the untimely fate of my people? Because next he says, bache, tribe follows tribe and nation follows nation. As we know, bache, change is the law of nature. After one tribe, another is going to come, and in the near future that tribe will also be replaced by the next one. Similarly, it is the case with the nation also, like the waves of the sea. So it is going to be like the waves of the sea, one after another, the next is coming. It is the order of the nature, and regret is useless. So one is supposed to be replaced by other. So one should not feel sorry, one should not regret, because regret is useless. Your time of decay may be distant, but it will surely come, for even the white man whose God walked and talked with him as friend to friend cannot be exempt from the common destiny. So next bache is challenging the white man that your time of decay may be far away, right? But it will definitely come. Means even you people will also not be saved for a long time period. Definitely you have to face all these things in the coming future. We may be brothers after all, we will see. We may be brothers after all, we will see. So next he is saying to the white man that we'll see to it. We may be the brothers, but we'll just see to the things. We will ponder your proposition, and when we decide, we will let you know. So he says that we will think upon your idea, and after that, we will just tell you. But should we accept it, I here and now make this condition that we will not be denied the privilege without molestation of visiting at any time the tombs of our ancestors, friends, and children. So next bache, he says this thing to white man that if we accept it, if we accept your idea, then we should have the right to visit the tombs of our ancestors, friends, and children. There should not be any kind of restriction for that thing. Every part of this soil is sacred in the estimation of my people. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove has been hallowed by some sad and happy event in days long vanished. So, next he says that every part of this soil is sacred to my people. If we talk of hillside, valley, plain, grove, people are having the memories with it, whether they are sad or the happy ones. So even the rocks which seem to be dumb and dead as they swelter in the sun along the silent shore thrill with memories of stirring events connected with the lives of my people. Next bache, he says to the white man that these rocks seem to be dumb and dead, but my people have the memories attached to these rocks also. And the very dust upon which you now stand responds more lovingly to the footsteps than yours. The sand is having more attachment with my people than yours because it is rich with the blood of our ancestors, and our bare feet are conscious of the sympathetic touch. Next, he says that our ancestors had walked on this very sand, so this sand is having more sympathetic touch for my people. So his people are more attached to the sand. So let's move to the next page. Departed braves, fond mothers, glad, happy-hearted maidens, and even the little children who lived here and rejoiced here for a brief season will love this somber solitude, and at eventide they greet shadowy returning spirits. Now, he is talking about the soldiers, fond mothers, and maidens, and even the little children who had lived on this very land for the short span of time, are having the memories attached with this very place. And when the last red man shall have perished and the memory of my tribe shall have become a myth among the white men, these shores will swarm with the invisible dead of my tribe. And when your children's children think themselves alone in the field, the store, the shop, upon the highway, or in the silence of the pathless woods, they will not be alone. Next, my dear students, he is saying that when the last red man shall have perished means not even a single person of red man is going to be alive at that time, especially when the memory of his tribe will become a history, right, will become a traditional story. At that time also, bache, the white men are not going to be alone, right? When your children's children think themselves alone in the field, the store, the shop, upon the highway, or in the silence of the pathless woods, they will not be alone. Next, he says that whenever these white men will be at different places and they are going to think that they are alone, at that time also they are not going to be alone. Who is going to be with them? The red man are going to be with them. So here now he is making the white man a bit fearful. So don't think that in future you will be alone. At that time, red man will definitely be with you. At night, when the streets of your cities and villages are silent and you think them deserted, they will throng with the returning hosts that once filled them and still love this beautiful land. At night, when you think that the streets of your cities and villages are silent and there is no one, at that time also, bache, the spirits of the red man will be there, because they must be visiting the land that they had loved. The white man will never be alone. So, in the future, also, you will never be alone. Let him be just. So, ask your father to be just and deal kindly with my people. So, he's asking him to deal very kindly with my people. For the dead are not powerless. Dead, did I say? Don't consider dead as meaningless, useless. Don't consider them as powerless. They are also having power. Dead, did I say? There is no death, only a change of worlds. So here he is challenging that don't think that with the death of red man everything is going to be finished, right? If they are going to die, it is only be the change of worlds, nothing else. So here he is asking them to just behave accordingly and they should be kind to the red man. Thank you, my dear students. This is all about your story.